Hello and welcome to another Blender tutorial brought to you by Luwizart. My name is Emmanuel Okafo, and today we'll be looking at a very powerful add-on, and that add-on is called Hairnet add-on. It's pretty much free, and I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can download it. So this add-on enables you as an artist to be able to generate hair from geometry, from curve, as you can see right here in the little demo I did for you guys. So I'll be walking you guys through this video on on understanding how to basically use this add-on. And finally, you have to stick to the end because I will also be covering an issue which you will face when using this add-on, that makes it pretty much useless when working with animation. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix that issue. So let's jump right into the tutorial. So once you have the add-on installed, so you should have this nice menu here in the particle edit. But what you really want to play with is the tab here, so the Hairnet tab. So this is where the whole spice is located. Okay, so from the menu here, you can see we have very few parameters, but they are really powerful. So we'll be covering everything here, including emit the hair from itself. So let's basically let's start up with the add hair from sheet. So when you talk about sheet, a sheet basically means a single plane. So this is what is referred to as a sheet. And yeah, so let's try to generate hair from sheet. So let me just hide this one I've done already. So let's say we are happy. Let's try to I'll just delete this. Let's create a new one, and let's extrude out some nice complex style. So the add-on can create any shape of hair that you design. So it's really powerful. And let me just place it roughly at the right position. Okay. And let's say we want to also have this duplicate this hair, so we have it placed around. So what you want to make sure is that you have exact polygon count, so you can't have like more vertex in one. So every duplicate should be a complete replica of the same vertices. So you can change the shape, but you should make sure that it has the same vertex. So that's really important. That's why I'm really stressing on it. Yeah, so now if we select this plane, shift select the character and hit hair from sheet, we'll get an error saying no seam were defined in the female body, in the character. So let's define the shape. So what you want to do is add seams to the smaller edges. So those edges that you don't want the head, like when you look at this plane, this is the main design of the hair that you're looking at. So that's what you basically want. So those edges that you don't want to be used, that's where you can apply the same too. So as you can see, I'm selecting the inner edges. So I'm going to just press Ctrl E, mark seam. So this enables the script to ignore these edges I've marked. Okay, so if I'm to mark this as an edge, when I run the script, it's going to ignore everything but this one. So I want this edge, so I'm just gonna clear this thing. So this is what we have. Okay, and now if I repeat that task, it should work, but what we're getting is wrong placement of the hair. So let's fix that. Let's first apply the rotation and scale. Okay, and next we want to make sure that the origin point of this plane, it's same with the character you're trying to apply the head to. Okay, so to do that, let's make sure this is set to the right place. So Shift S, cursor to selected. Yeah, cursor to selected. Okay, and then we select this and hit the spatial menu key. Well, that's W, and select origin to 3D cursor. So that means when I rotate this, it's going to rotate from this angle, and they share the same origin point. Okay, so now if I select this plane, shift select the head and hair from sheet, is going to place it in the right position. And now let's go ahead and increase the viewport strand steps. So something like this. So you can see we have it looking smoother. Okay. So let's say we want more hair generated from this plane, because right now we just have two particle system, two strands generated. Because if I turn off the children, you can just see we only have two strands. So if we want multiple strands, we can do that by just basically adding more edge loops here. So the more the edge loops, the more the strands. So let's repeat the process. Hair from sheet, and we just increase the viewport strand steps. So that's basically how to use the add hair from sheet functionality. So before let me just quickly talk about the emit hair from self. So everything is good. You just need to click on this emit hair from self. That means it's going to generate hair from itself. So like this. Okay. So earlier in the video, I said we're going to run into a very serious problem, especially when doing animation. Like if you're just doing it for a single shot, you're fine. But if you need to animate your character, you just basically need to fix this. Because right now, if I'm to move a vertex, then um, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. So if I'm to move a vertex, you can see we have the head behaving funny. So if I move more, we can get this kind of chaos. So we don't really want this, because when you're animating, you're actually dealing with, but you're actually dealing with moving of vertex with the armature. So if you use this for animation, you're bound to face problems. So stick around. I'm going to show you guys how to fix that. Uh, let's move ahead to the next one. So the next one and the final one is going to be fibers, because as for now, the curve one is having issues, but no problem, because you can easily convert the curve to a fiber. So when I say fiber, I basically mean if I select a single vertex, if I just delete everything except this one and extrude this, so this is a fiber to the system. So this is basically what a fiber is. So let's create a simple example. I'm just going to add a curve and just do some settings, and let's extrude this. Okay, so any shape you like. So as before, you have to make sure each of the curve have exact points. So you don't want to have one with more points than the other. So for the system to work perfectly, you want to make sure they have exact point. So it's either is means duplicating and tweaking. And yeah. So let's say we're happy with this and we want to generate hair from this. So the way to do that is basically convert this to a mesh. So this is what we're going to have. And the same way we apply the rotation and scale, origin geometry. Then we do cursor to selected, and finally origin to 3D cursor, like this. Okay, so now we select the fiber mesh first, shift select the character and have some fibers, and now we can increase the viewport strand steps, and voila, we have our hair system. So everything, this is just the basic drill of this add-on. So as you can see, it's pretty easy and straightforward. So let's go ahead and fix let's go ahead and fix this main issues that you're going to run into. So let's say we have a nice plane, and let's just create a nice hair system for it, a nice style for it. So this is okay, and let's apply everything. Also, let's add the same for it. So select those edges, invert it, Control A, mark seams, add a couple of edge loops here, and we are good to go. Then cursor to selected, that's the main character. Then origin to 3D cursor, and let's do that again. FM sheet. So yeah, so we have our hair. So let's try to fix that problem, which we definitely gonna run into. For display purposes, let me just change the material to something darker. Okay, so Even like if I move this inverters now, we should get that error, and we're not. Okay, so we are getting the error if we move some vertex close to it. So let's try to avoid that um, generally. So we just go into the particle edit mode and let's grab our comb brush. So what we want to do is switch to this vertex, okay, and then bring up my tool and I will increase the path. So what you want to do is select all the hair and first of all remove all the doubles. Okay, so that's number one issue solved. And the second and important one, if I do select root, so you can see we are having a problem because the root is meant to be located here, but we are getting some selection here because it's just generated here without any specification of where the roots or the tips are. So you need to set that, you need to fix that, or we need to fix that now. So the way to fix that, if I do select root again, I would deselect all the roots and leave this the wrong one selected, and I'm just gonna grow my selection by holding down Control Plus. Okay, so it has selected all the wrong facing ones, and I can delete it. So this leaves us with the accurate representation of our geometry because we had five. This is the correct edge loops we have with the geometry, and it should be the same that is generated, so we don't have um, unnecessary particle behaving the wrong way. So if I do select roots, so you can see it's selecting the appropriate ones, and if I select tip, it's selecting the appropriate ones. And now it's going to look a bit scanty because yes, but you can increase the number of the children particles, and it should fix that. Um, yeah, so let's bring up the hair. So let's go over some settings that you can use to make it look even good. So I'm using EV and I've set it to display as a strip. So that's why we're getting nice hair display. I can go to the hair shape and reduce the root to something like point two should be good for this. Okay, and that's too much. So let me just leave it at 50 or probably 100. So what you want to play with is here in the children setting. So you want to make sure you play with the radius. So in case it's not looking how you want or you want it to be tighter, you can increase the radius or decrease it. Okay. And make sure you always have this check. So if you leave it unchecked, it's going to look, it's like a 2D plane, but if you increase it, it's going to try to round up, sorry, and give volume to the particle system. So you want to make sure that's also there. And yeah, so and after that, you can just basically play with clumping, and you could add some nice effects like coiliness. I think we're having an error. We could play with the shape. Anyway, that's basic of it. This is just addendum, you know, just addition, but this is how it should work. And now we don't have any error, even if we move the vertex. Boy, it should not be like that. So let's see if anything is causing that. Um, anyway, it should work. You should probably play with it more, but you should always do the last step I did, which is to clean up the geometry to make sure the root is placed in the right position and to make sure the tip is placed in the right position. If you do that, you should be able to avoid some errors. But in most part, it works, and yeah, it's working. Yeah, it works. So yeah, we are all good. So make sure you do that to avoid any error during animation or even simulation. Okay. Yeah, thank you guys for watching this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. I know it was more like me just bombarding you guys with knowledge. Next time I'll try to be uh, more like a teacher to make sure I go step by step. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you wish to see more from me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I do post video regularly and I usually post video based on my workflow and things I know are very helpful to professionals and even hobbies. So thank you guys. Bye bye for now. See you next time.